Yeah, hi there, and these comments are for Alina, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-Step System to pass a TOEFL IBT. So you sent me some comments over at my website at bettertoeflscores.com, and let's take a look at your questions. Say, first of all, I want to thank you for getting vocabulary free of charge. You're welcome. You said, I'm going to take the TOEFL in a couple weeks. I need practice regularly reading. Which books would you recommend? I have went through Barron's official guide and free samples already. Looking for your answer. Interesting. So here, and I think that you told me a minute ago your score is 88 and you want to score 110. So you're probably looking at, my best guess is anywhere from 4 to 8 months to reach that goal. First of all, that's a very tall order. Even to go from 88 to 100 is really a difficult challenge, but to go from 88 to 110 is a lot of work. So what books do I recommend? I think that I'm not even going to recommend TOEFL books. You already have TOEFL books, right, and free samples. So I'm going to recommend 3 things. Newspapers. How about the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times? How about both of those newspapers? Start reading those on a regular basis. In terms of books, read things that you actually have an interest in. Right? So if you're interested in history, then read books about history. If you like fiction, you like books like Harry Potter, you can read those. So I recommend that you start a regular routine of reading on a day-to-day basis, which I think will have a very positive impact on your overall reading proficiency and ultimately your reading score. So I'd recommend that. Okay, let's go to your next comment. You said one more question. I didn't find the video about question and reading, which is all the time in the end of the test. It is based on the whole I think you're trying to say I didn't find a question in the video about, I think you're talking about these schematic tables or chart questions where you're asked, I think, about some main ideas and then which of the topic sentences will support the main idea. You say, but we should include only main ideas. How can we distinguish all sentences if we didn't read the whole passage? I would read, for the TOEFL, I would read at least the whole passage one time quickly. So I think that you should read the passage during the TOEFL exam to have an idea about what it's about, not just the main ideas, but also the support points. And of course it takes time, so you want to make sure your reading speed, Alina, is at least 300 words per minute or more. You see what I'm saying? My website helps my online TOEFL course students improve their reading from 100 to 350 words a minute. Okay, so your recent score is 88. You want to get 110. So the question is, how do you get there? How do you go from 88 to 110, right? So I'm going to put you on a plan. I'm not going to give a specific plan for a certain number of months. Like I said, you're probably looking at anywhere from 4 to 8 months before you're going to reach that goal, unless you have some miraculous English improvement in a short period of time, which is not very likely. I've been teaching TOEFL now for 20 years, and you're really looking to increase your TOEFL score. You're looking at about 5 to 10 points for each month that you study. That would be really, really positive improvements on your part. So you're not just wanting to go 5 or 10 points. You're wanting to go 20, about 20, 22 points, right? So in 2 weeks, I think that's pretty useless. So I'm not going to recommend a study plan for 2 weeks. That's not going to be very smart for anybody. But for the next 4 to 8 months, here's what you can start doing. And I recommend doing these things several hours every day for the next few months. First of all, like I said, get in the habit and stay in the habit of reading newspapers. You can read magazines and then longer books. These materials have nothing to do with the TOEFL exam. You've already read the Barron's book. You've already done that. You've done a lot of that. So my guess is you're pretty familiar with the reading question types and the strategies for answering them, but you probably just need more practice reading in general. And once you're comfortable with that, then you apply the strategies that you've learned in the Barron's book, you should be good. Okay, secondly, you should also practice listening on a regular basis. My recommendation is maybe 30 to 40 minutes every day. You watch TV, you can listen to the radio, you can watch movies. I think these things will be very important. If you watch TV, I recommend programs focusing on news, documentary, history, and especially science programs. Now, in both cases, as you're doing your reading and your listening practice, Alina, you should practice taking notes. So when you read the passage, the reading or listening passage, write down the main and the most important supporting points. Now, that's not enough. You should also practice writing about this information. Your goal each week is to write 3 250-word academic summaries of the reading and the listening passages that you're practicing. That means you're doing about 750 words of writing practice every day. Now, you should also practice speaking about the reading and the listening passages, again using your notes. Your goal here is to give 3 60-second oral responses each week. Make sure you record them. You need to get used to recording your voice on a regular basis. You don't have to have me listen to it. I don't have to read your summary, but if you do your writing and speaking summaries each week on a regular basis, you will develop more confidence, you'll become more fluent, it'll be much easier for you to complete these tasks on the TOEFL IBT exam. There we go. So far, I've given you some specific suggestions that'll probably keep you busy anywhere from 1 to 2 hours every day for the next few months. Now, my next suggestion deals with my online TOEFL course. Now, your TOEFL score is already pretty good. I don't know why you need 110. But if you want to get 110, I'm telling you what you have to do to get that. So the next thing is start going through the lessons in my online TOEFL course. Now, some lessons, because your score is already pretty good, they might be too easy. So if you're taking one of my lessons and you feel like you already understand the information, then skip it. Skip the lesson. Move on to the next one. But for the first month or so, I want you to focus on the vocabulary, pronunciation, and grammar lessons of my course. Do those first. That means each week you can do a vocabulary, pronunciation, and a grammar lesson. Then the next day do the same thing. So each day you're doing lessons in those 3 parts of my course. Once you've completed the vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation sections of my course, then for the next month or so, go through the reading and the listening parts of my course. Do that next. Your main goal with the reading is to increase your reading speed to 350 words with 60 to 80% comprehension. And you can do that by completing my speed reading tests. And that's going to be important for you. Your goal, of course, when you go through the listening section of my course and you start listening to the lectures, try to score 80 or higher on those listening practice tests, and that also shows you're doing a pretty good job. Finally, then you complete the writing and speaking parts of my course. This is where you get feedback from me. When you do a speaking practice test, remember my rule, you can only do 1 practice test per day. And go to other websites for a minute. I want you to go out and check them out. A lot of online TOEFL courses, believe it or not, they don't even offer writing and speaking practice. They just give you a whole bunch of videos. You don't get to talk to somebody like me. You don't have a TOEFL speaking or writing specialist scoring those practice tests. You see what I'm saying? So my courses are going to give you feedback with your speaking and writing, feedback that's going to help you overcome the problems you're having right now that are keeping your writing and speaking scores down. So that's the last thing you do on my course, is to go through the speaking and the writing lessons. So if you go through all of my course, and remember, some lessons you'll skip because they're too easy, and other lessons you'll spend more time on because it's helping you solve language issues, my best guess will probably take you anywhere from 3 to 5 months to go through all the lessons and learn the information, after which you should have a pretty good chance of reaching your goal. Now what you should do is, before you take the TOEFL exam, take a full-length IBT practice test. You need to take a practice test to see where you are, so you have an honest opinion about where your English skills are. So if you take the practice test, you can go to the 8th section of my course. It's not really my website, but I have a link to another website which offers full-length IBT practice tests for you, and that's going to help you, I think, see where you are. It'll give you some practice, and then you can make any last-minute adjustments before you take your official exam. Alright, and that's it. Alright, Alina, thank you very much for your comments, and good luck to you, and all the best to your high-scoring TOEFL success.